Hello and welcome to Oracle Storytelling. Hi, I'm Sarah of Sarah Wing Intuitive Arts. I put some of my arts behind me. Welcome to hopefully a little positive aside from your day. A little bit of time to soften and reflect, relax, breathe. When we're with our breath, we can be calm, we can be connected. We feel safe when we're with our breath. So it's June 2020. A lot is going on. A ton is going on astrologically. And if you don't follow astrology, you're just aware of kind of what's going on in the world. It's a reflection of the energies and the times and just where we are and where we're moving towards collectively, the kinds of big changes that are going on, the kind of voices that are being raised and recognition that is coming up, because I think we all feel that we want a world that's a little more aligned with ourselves and our well-being. And maybe that comes up through a lot of doubt and fearfulness right now. But like any feeling, you have to feel it to get to the next feeling. If we never felt fear, we couldn't feel the next thing that comes after. And we don't really know what that is. Sometimes you could be fearful and the next feeling is anxiousness, or it could be joy or laughter, or, you don't know until you go through it. And sometimes it's those tough things that you feel and go through that, not sometimes, but really the tough things that you feel and go through, those are the things that lead you to these well springs of knowledge. It's the kind of the scary things often are like right in front of the most beautiful things, places, people, opportunities, experiences, emotions, whatever it may be. It's all waiting and there for you, and it can't show up without you being there. So so it's June. Hi, did I say I'm Sarah of Sarah Wing Intuitive Arts? Probably. I just wanted to do something that was pretty positive and uplifting. I'm going through a ton of change and transition like everyone else right now. And, one thing that I mentioned in my last video was a way to deal with any kind of feelings of upset. One way is to do something creative, and at the very least, when you do something creative, you release any kind of stored energy that could build up and turn into inquiry energy. So I'm here and I'm very purple. I just started purpling myself, I guess, and kind of feeling a little bit. I started thinking about like this Harley Quinn energy, and kind of just thinking about that a little bit, and thinking about the idea of, the Harley Quinn, the entertainer, this person in service, right? In service to others. And I think all of us are really craving that, we're craving knowing ourselves more personally, intimately, and also to align ourselves a little more with others in service in one way or another. I think it's just kind of like the natural path our hearts are guided to. Service just becomes, this closer and closer rising priority in our lives. So I grabbed some decks and I'm just going to read some positive messages, and we're just going to kind of bring in some good thoughts, some fun thoughts. Let's see what happens. I wanted to kind of just bring in kind of some visual energy. I decided to pull two pieces that just made sense to me. I've been thinking about star seeds and starseed energy a lot lately, so I just wanted to say hello and welcome any star seeds, anyone who's having a lot of trouble right now with and just sensitives in general, people feeling that it's so crazy. The lighting in this turns my stuff hyper neon colors. So interesting. I call this kind of like my kind of alien Aztec warrior piece that is a neon. It's way more neon than it actually is in person, but it makes me smile. It makes me super happy. So this is kind of like an emotional shout out to star seeds. Hey guys, hang in there. And I wanted to grab Submerged. Kind of see some of those metallics in there. But for everyone out there, especially sensitive people, empaths and HSPs, and feeling that submergement, whether you're feeling it physically, emotionally, verbally, hearing it a lot, if you're seeing a lot of that feeling of overwhelm, if your dreams, I'm having a lot of, I'm definitely feeling the overwhelm and feeling submerged by a lot of change. Like when I think, so I call this submerged because there is like a lot of dense, deep emotion and a lot of like water energy. So, what's going on right now, there is so much water energy going on. There's, this like water, deep emotion energy, water fluid change, water transition, personally or known societal structures. You think of water, it can, be this rushing rapid stream, or under different conditions, it can be, hardened and ice. And I think we're seeing a lot of changes in our life go from this fluid momentum, right? This watery, fluid, emotional flow that we know, to these structures and changes that have hardened, and it just made me think of my little Herkimer diamond, which apparently they only come from a place in New York. Herkimer, it's either like the body of water or the place. I don't know, but it's a little hardened little Herkimer diamond. So I just want to kind of bring in those energies and bring in a little family energy. This is something my aunt sent me a while back, and it just kind of makes me think of a little like Harlequin energy too. So what am I gonna do? So let's see. I guess I'm just gonna maybe oracle a few things and provide us with like some messages to help us move through June. Even if we kind of feel like we're the glacier and not the running stream, and we really want that, whatever form our life is taking, from, that icicle to melting to, maybe stop of like the tap, turning off and on the tap water. You feel like it goes, it stops, it goes, it stops, or a rushing stream. Wherever we are and wherever we want to get to, let's just find some messages that will kind of help us through in different areas of our life. to get through June, which is a big month, as we already know, feel, and see. And if we look at it universally, even more so. And if we look at it astrologically, even more so. And we just had an eclipse. On the 21st, we're going to have a solar eclipse. And, you know, eclipse energy, that goes on for about, you can feel it for about 3 months after. We probably still have like 6 planets in retrograde right now. A couple weeks ago was like the week from hell, to over dramatize, but you know how it felt for myself and I think a lot of people. So yeah, let's start with kind of a lighter book. So in terms of keeping a lighthearted attitude around relationships, let's say, or let's look at relationships, I'm going to just kind of channel something out of Zsa Zsa Gabor's How to Catch a Man, How to Keep a Man, and How to Get Rid of a Man. Thank you so much, Samantha, a dear friend for many years. And I guess I should go with the... Wow, should I go with left or right? Why is that so tough? Maybe because they're both like heightened things. So I'll go with legal love affairs. Legal love affairs. Because I can only imagine being in a romantic relationship right now. My God. Let's face it. I don't know how to do a Zsa Zsa Gabor accent, so let's face it. Love and marriage are really 2 entirely different animals. Like tigers and horses. You can hardly ever find them living together in the same cage. Tigers and horses. Not for very long, anyway. In my opinion, if you and your husband are still passionately in love with each other, then you are not married. Oh, Zsa Zsa. I don't care if you 2 have gone through the ceremony of marriage even 2 times, like Vadim and Jane Fonda did, because they weren't so sure about that judge in Las Vegas. Girl. I understand he wasn't too sure about them either. Awesome. Since Vadim had already Bridget Bardot and Catherine Deneuve, that Jane Fonda must really be something if he married her twice. No, I don't care if you and your husband even have had dozens of lovely children and grandchildren together and are now celebrating your golden anniversary. If you are still insanely mad about each other, then you are mainly lovers, not married people. It's the biggest luck in the world to have a love affair which is legal. I love that. It's the biggest luck in the world to have a love affair which is legal. Wow. But LaRochencod was so right when he said, true love is like seeing ghosts. We talk about it, but few of us have ever seen one. Okay. So what this makes me think of is the intensity of relationships right now, the intensity of established relationships, married relationships, and kind of if you're in that kind of deep partnership with someone and going through this transitional time together, you know, being aware of kind of where your passion is being put. True love is like seeing ghosts. We all talk about it, but few of us have ever seen one. So kind of, I mean, there's a lot of talk about passion, and there's a lot of talk about talk. So it kind of makes me think about the blending of the two. when you're in kind of these confined spaces with your lover or your loved one, with your significant other, your betrothed, um, you know, kind of balancing that passion with with conversation, you know, kind of having that balance so it isn't extremes of endurance, like um, so you're not burning out in one area or the other, you know. I love love. I love the idea of this passionate love affair that goes on and on. Um, but that's just what's coming up for me. I want to just quickly see maybe what. Oh, okay. So to draw an archetype card that came up was companion. Light attributes being loyalty, tenacity, and unselfishness, and some shadow things to be aware of: betrayal by misusing confidences, loss of personal identity. So we are really living in times where if we're with somebody almost 24/7 now, and we are in this deep partnership, you know, what really gets us through is the kindness, right? The lightheartedness, the friendship, you know, um, kind of like the loyalty to that, to being a friend to the person, and sharing, and the idea of, you know, what is companionship to you, right? Passion can be a lot of different things, but companionship, what's really that really holds you up, that holds your partner up? What are those elements of being a companion? You know, what are the kindnesses that, regardless of the time of day or the energy you have or whatever's going on in the world, that you can always bring in, that you can always share and be the companion to that person with. And then so loss of personal identity. I mean, it just makes me think of, you know, new relationships or people who just moved in together. Really brand new beginnings that have been really, you know, kind of like put in a pressure cooker with shelter in place orders, and change of location for work. And, you know, something to keep in mind, that loss of personal identity. When you really merge with another person and you get so invested, you know, it can be a beautiful thing, but a lot of us, I know, are feeling those very instinctual, like fight or flight survival mode, and you don't want to get like a loss of identity in that way. You know, you don't want to become this sense of like dependency on the other person to survive during this time. And to survive is to really kind of kowtow to the other, like in that sense of loss of identity, where it's loss of identity for survival. That's a whole other bag of problems right there. Okay, so let's bring a little color in. Before I did pick a card with a stone in it. We got purple dyed agate, which I'm not too surprised because I'm covered in purple. And it reads, is your intuition particularly heightened at this time? Yes, by the way, all intuition is super heightened at this time, what we're going through. June, it's super magnified astrologically, and with the eclipses, psychic, mediumship, dreams, clairs in dreams, clairs in general. Are you receiving messages from the divine? So what is your intuition, you know, saying to you? I think it's you know, it's softly calling to some of us, it's barking at others of us. But this is just a time of such massive change, and we're all so eager for it. You know, even if we're feeling really distressed and in grief, I mean, that's just part of that. To me, even speaks to eagerness. You know, you're grieving, or you're you're going through this, you're feeling this grief, it's this loss. It's acknowledging something that has passed. It's acknowledging that a new future is coming into focus, So even that shows an eagerness to me. That's transition, that's change, Um, and not grieving to continuously grieve for years on end and get smaller and smaller, but grieving to acknowledge what was so we can bring in and celebrate what's coming. Embrace the divine gift in order to live a charmed and enlightened life. So, yeah, listen to what's coming in for you, what's coming up for you. What is drawing your attention, test the waters. Just pay attention to what's calling to you, especially when we're just talking about something else might be calling to a significant other or someone close to you, and it doesn't have to be the same for you. What's calling to you? It's so important. It's so important. It's so important to just listen to that, help others attain freedom from suffering and find happiness and peace. And one way to do that is, we find that for ourselves, is living by example, right? The more we show up as ourselves, the more, we love ourselves, and the more love is seen and witnessed by those who share our space, and their defenses and their fears start to lessen, and they start to show up a little more for themselves. They, it's, they're seeing the example that you're showing them. Pursue training to develop your intuitive gifts and use them freely. Yeah, so it's a great time for that. I mean, your senses are magnified right now. All your intuitive senses and abilities are magnified. I know I'm thinking about schooling for different things right now. And this is, and on one hand, it's a great time just because things are so amplified. And also, if these are things that are on your mind, those are supportive tools to take classes and learn more. Okay. And let's see. On that note, I'm going to just channel something from the universe always has a plan. I'm going to say it again. The universe always has a plan. So even if you don't feel like you have a plan, I mean, what was the quote I saw the other day? It's by Martin Luther King, or it was by someone. And maybe he said it, and it was quoting the quote. Something about you, to get to the top, like to climb a ladder, you don't need to see the top. Like you just need to see the next step. Something like that. Which is definitely how I'm feeling, It's that idea of just because you can't see it doesn't mean it's not there. It's not waiting for you. The steps aren't in front of you. Even the steps are in front of you, even if you can't see them. Which logically, if you think about it, it has to be true, because if we just believe that, if I just believe I'm sitting here, and if I can't see beyond my walls physically, it doesn't exist. I know that's not true. Logically, I know that's not true. I know there's life outside. I can't see it, but I know it's there. And, I know new things and opportunities are being created everywhere that I personally don't have to create, but I can become part of if I just take a step, the next step, and the next step. Okay. I almost want to read. Oh, I love when it lands on pages like that relate to my age or date of birth. It's super fun. So I'm going to read this, which says, this is why the sixth golden rule reminds you the universe always has a plan. I just had to read that because it's what I just said. It is a plan you are always fulfilling, no matter the choices made along the way. Kind of what I was trying to express there. And then I'm just going to read the purpose of time. So let's see. All too often, what gets in the way of you knowing the universe has a plan is perfect, of course. is also one of the ego's mortal enemies. To make things even more difficult for ego, its mortal enemy is one of the soul's greatest allies. It's the dimension of time. When lost in time, you often have the dilemma of everything you want seeming so far away, while you're unable to get away from the things you don't want to experience. So, absolutely, right. Kind of exactly what kind of came to mind for me. So, when we're in ego, we feel stuck. We only see the barriers and the obstacles. There's always a problem. There's always a problem, and we always have to solve it. And if we want something different and we can't snap our fingers and make it change, that's a problem. When we're uncomfortable with where we are, we want things to change, and it's a problem, that means we're not feeling safe. So if we're having issues with time, we're having issues with safety, and we're not feeling safe. We're saying where we are right now, who we are, is not okay. It's not enough. I am not safe. One thing that's really helpful with breath is when you're with your breath, you're with yourself, and you are one with everything. When you're with your breath, you are safe. If you feel like things need to be different, you're not feeling safe. You're saying, it's not okay to be who I am. You may be looking outward and you're saying, it's a problem where I am, and this person's a problem. That's also a problem. But at its core, you're the one navigating and being witness to your life. And if you're having issues with where you are, it's having issues with, worthiness, not being enough. I'm not feeling safe with who I am. I am not enough. Worthiness issues. I'd say self-doubt, and that can be passing, but there's a core worthiness, like a knowing, a self-love, a knowing of worth, which we can definitely anchor to. So if we're steeped in ego and everything around us is wrong and it's not okay, we are very uncomfortable with time. We are not safe. We are not feeling safe. We are saying we are not enough as we are who we are, which we are enough, and we have everything that we need to love ourselves deeply and know that and trust in what we have within ourselves, and the gifts that we have will carry us through our lives regardless of what our external circumstances look like. And we can grow anywhere. I often smile whenever I see like a little like weed, which just means non-regional flower, but like a weed growing through like a crack in the cement. Do you ever like take a walk down the sidewalk, or you're pulling up your car and suddenly in the driveway there's like, a little crack, and then you see like the little weed growing? It always makes me smile, because regardless of circumstance, imagine this little non-indigenous flower. People look at it as a weed. Everything around you seems solid. And then here you are, and even the crack, there's this element of like a brokenness or something. But within yourself, you're just like, I'm a flower. And that's nice that everything else wants to be cement. You want to be like, I'm a weed and this is broken. But I just came up through the earth and I'm growing. So let's see. I'm going to pull a little tarot card that's a bit very creative and imaginative, and read one little passage from a goddess book, and then say, see you probably in July in a brand new home, which will be, I'm not sure where yet, but I have faith it will be in the right place. So let's see. Yeah, something about having like a strengthening of faith in yourself to make it through every kind of perceived upheaval, strengthening you need emotionally, physically, whatever it may be, through June. Magical June with the magical you. Do you want that? Huh. Ooh, these cards are crazy. Ooh. Okay, wow. So here's 2 cards, and I'm not going to read them. I'm just going to tell you what I see and show them to you. So, oh my gosh. Well, so if we need some strength here, here's the Queen of Wands. That's very magical. And would you look at that? Inside, I mean, you kind of look at like, there's kind of like a placid look on her face. And we have just within herself, with just the lightest touch of energy, just the lightest gift of just a lifting of the veil, kind of a lifting of the external and what's beneath. We have this powerful source. Here we have this dragon, right? And what they're wanting at bay to keep away is easily kept away. And kind of the strength that she has, if you look just like at the size, the perspective, here's, let's say, something feeling intrusive to you, right? And here you are, and even though, you know, maybe it's not the most confident face, it's kind of this placid, kind of maybe in thought, kind of maybe trying to pull that strength together, but really it's more about letting your internal strength do the work. You know, if you know something isn't right for you, if you know something needs to be, you know, seen and dealt with, you know, allowing that to happen this month, allowing whatever needs to be seen and dealt with to be seen and dealt with, and knowing that you have this inner strength that's really going to come out when you need it, even if you're not, you know, maybe feeling the strongest, that you're not really alone. You know, there's a strength that is a bit larger than you, that can take care of whatever is coming up for you. And then the Ace of Swords. So swords are air, swords are mental. You know, so maybe you're feeling a bit conflicted. I would say in terms of like energy, you see this girl and she's kind of making a bit of a mess. She has quite the huge treat in her hand, and the anxiety is more coming from the treat. So I would say the first thing comes to mind is overthinking things, and maybe then having a moment of expense, like overthinking things and needing a moment of release or relief that expends you beyond what is healthy for you, whether it is food or socialization in some way, or it could be purchasing, like spending so much, like the treat, whatever the treat is that might lead to a bit of a trouble afterwards. Nothing too challenging, nothing you can't overcome, but like, you know, the forthcoming bit of regret. So that's what it makes me think of. like you can manifest a lot and you can bring in a lot, but just kind of watching for overdoing it. I don't think anything terrible, but just kind of watching from over so you don't overdo it. And of course, whatever you see, whatever makes sense, whatever pops out to you is authentic, is correct, and exactly what you should keep in mind. So I'm just going to channel one little passage from, oh, yeah, and this just stuck to my leg, so I might as well pick it up. Life is never stuck, stagnant, or stale, for each moment is ever new and fresh. So thank you, Divine, for sticking this card to my leg, because it's getting hot in here. And popping in this message. So sometimes we feel like life is stuck when we feel like there's a slow, like we're glacially slow and things are just stilting along. Or the other way we feel like, stuck is sometimes life is going so fast, or the change is happening so much that we feel stuck in the current of change, in this flow, in this new rushing river of change. So this is just a nice reminder that life is never stuck, stagnant, or stale, for each moment is ever new and fresh, which is true. Absolutely. We are the ones who get stuck in moments. We're the ones who time travel over and over and over. But the truth is that I can do something new or at least different every day. And it's true. It's absolutely true. And you are doing new and different things every day. Or the same, similar things in new ways. And just a good reminder. And it's so funny. This drawing always reminds me of that space mat growing show, Futurama. It reminds me of the doctor, the crab doctor, Zoidberg. Just makes me laugh. So if anybody needed to think about that character for a laugh, or there's something about this message that connects with Zoidberg, there you go. All right. In closing, I'm just going to read something from, like I said, see, Goddess book. All right. Let's see. We're going to say, message of peace coming out of June. Let's see. I want this. Let me. Okay. Our most profound and humble greetings. Salams and kisses to the earth where the feet of these holy mothers have walked. Beloved Eve, beloved Mary, most precious Khadija, most precious Asha, and the pearl beyond price, the majestic and mysterious mother of the Mir of the Prophet, the noble Hussein. May the peace, see? Peace. You get a message for peace, you get the word peace. May the peace of Allah always be upon him, the mother of the ecstatic lovers, supreme lover, and beloved of the Prophet, Fatima, the enlightened. So I'm just going to go, blessed be. What a beautiful, that is definitely a message of peace and emerging into July. So I'm just going to take that as a beautiful gift from the divine of a blessing for all of us. We shall, move through in our own journey, in our own heart's time, in divine timing, into July. Maybe somewhat shaken, but steadily aware of emerging paths, and with our eyes open, with our hearts open, shaken maybe from shedding of some old skin, some old beliefs, some old truths that have no place in your path and purpose. So, what a beautiful blessing, a message of peace. And I wish everybody just peace and blessings on their journey for the rest of the month. Please be kind to yourself, kinder than you've ever been before. Love yourself more than anyone else could, because guess what? You can. And just lots of love and blessings. And next time I see you, I will be wherever I'm living next. So take care out there. Until next time.